Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Tower card, right? So what do we say with this card? Now, interestingly enough, in a sense, you're already kind of used to this energy. Why? Because the Tower has that Martian kind of Uranian energy about it. Uranus is currently moving through the sign of Taurus and has been now for about 2.5, 3 years, and will continue. I think it's another 3 years at least to go. So this is an energy that you're now really starting to get used to. And the fact that you have the Tower card this week, I will always say to people, when the Tower card shows up, all bets are off, right? This is not a week where necessarily you will know exactly what's going to hit. Just expect the unexpected, as the old cliche goes. Now, because you've got the Tower card here, this could be a week where there is a big realization or an understanding of some sort that really shows up for you, that really hits you maybe on a very deep, visceral level. This is a moment where you are in effect really almost coming into a new understanding of yourself. We have several Tower moments throughout our lives, you know, most of them big ones that we remember for life, but then we have the smaller ones in the grand cycles of our lives as well. So this week, whatever it is that shows up for you that makes you think in a different way, remember these moments are always supposed to take us in different and sometimes often, I say sometimes, often better directions than the ones that we headed out on, you know, for ourselves. Now, that being said, I do have a quick announcement. As you will have seen, the 2022 video trailers are up and out there. So I just want to say thank you so much for all of your support throughout the year. This year this is like the 5th year that I'll be doing these, and I have chosen to charge for them this year. Apologize for those of you that are disappointed by that. I have deliberately tried to keep the costs low so that everybody has access to these. You can buy one for $4.99, which is like the price of an expensive cup of coffee. You can buy 3, so if you wanted to get your sun, moon and ascendant, you could 3 is $12.97, and for the whole bundle of 12 it's $24.99. They are downloadable, so you can keep them or you can keep them on the platform and come back to them time and time again. It's completely up to you. I've worked so hard on these, and I can assure you at least, so should I say all of them are at least 90 minutes plus. Like, they're bigger and better than they've ever been, with way more information packed in. I've literally squeezed as much into them as I possibly can. So I just want to say thank you for all of your support for those of you that do purchase them. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for being a part of Reydiant Reality. Now, getting back to your week ahead, for your actions and options, you have the Queen of Wands. So this week you are really kind of all systems go, charging ahead, right? The fact that you have the Queen of Wands here, I get this feeling that this week you are setting new boundaries for yourself, not other people. When the Queen of Wands shows up, we're usually drawing a line in the sand of some sort, or we're commanding our own authority. This tells me that there's something that you're putting in place for yourself, right? So maybe this is one of those moments where you say to yourself, right, the next 3 days you can pig out all you like, but from here on in, we are on a mission to slim down. That's just one example, but there's a dialogue that you're opening up with yourself this week to be really honest with yourself about where it is that you want to go with a specific goal and how it is that you're going to get there. It's kind of like you're giving yourself almost like a pep talk and an ultimatum at the same time. And then finally, because this is about what you do, your actions and options, there's a sense here that you're really going above and beyond. This is like you getting fired up about something to charge in after, you know, what really sets you on fire now for being that next goal that you're ready and willing to achieve right now. For your communications and conversations, you have the Strength card. All right, so this is the second time this card has shown up in this position, which I find really interesting because Aries also had a Queen in the first sort of part, and this suggests that there are personal changes of emotional outlooks and understandings that are taking place for both Taurus and for Aries this week. Now, the Queen of Wands, usually a fire sign woman, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, coupled with the Strength card, that is a Leo woman. So this is somebody that could feature for you this week, somebody that might assist you or help you. Remember, the Strength card as well is in the position of your work, your communications, your career. This is going to see you digging really deep. Now, some conversation that you have this week, you may have to set a boundary. You might have to stand your ground. You might have to be really honest and upfront about something that has ruffled your feathers, something that's annoyed you, maybe something that you just don't agree with. You know, like, this is one of the things that I love about the sign of Taurus as well. And I think this is where Taurus and Aquarius actually meet. They've both got a lot of integrity. They just approach things in very different ways. Now, what this says to me is this week, when it comes to those of you that are employed, you may, because it's the Tower card, right? So you may have a realization at work, with work, around work, and you might think to yourself, this doesn't sit right with me, and so I have to say something. And it's almost like you're dropping a bombshell, where maybe you're usually that sort of quiet, stoic person. This week you can't be that, because there's something that really, it cuts deep and you're like, no, this I cannot deal with, this I will not stand for. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, this is you digging deep to take your business in a really different direction. One that could have really, truly amazing results, that could be meteoric rises in some way, shape or form. But I feel like whatever it is that you guys are going for that's going to elevate you, it starts this week. Even if that's just on that sort of personal level where you're having that sort of, come on self, we're ready, born ready. You know, like, you're having one of those moments with yourself. You are really encapsulating that. You're finding it, but from this deeper place inside. So the communication that's happening this week is internal, but it starts to then filter out. And then finally, for those of you that are retired and no longer working, this almost suggests to me that you're preparing to make some form of big change to the lifescape. That you are, it's almost like, you know, this is going to upset the apple cart, but you're like, no, on a heart space level, I have decided this is what's right for me, and I'm choosing to step forward in this way. And it's not about, you know, whoever gets hurt by it be damned. It's more a case of now just valuing and honoring yourself enough to say, this is what I need, this is what I want for my life. There are going to be opportunities to have some really interesting conversations this week, some of which may press your buttons or may force you to look at life in different ways, or certainly to express some of the things that you've been thinking or feeling on the inside. For your love and relations, you have the Queen of Swords. So you've got two queens here. Two queens represents the energy of sincere friends, right? So this could be actually that maybe you're getting advice from a friend. Maybe you're getting advice from, you know, somebody who you didn't actually realize could be a friend. Maybe somebody is giving you information or insight on something that really makes you think about things in a very different way. Now, it is the Queen of Swords, so for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, because you've got that Tower card here, I'm inclined to say that there might be something that you and the partner disagree on this week, but the beauty of it is you're honoring yourself enough to say, this is what I need, this is how I'm going to take things forward. But because it's the Queen of Swords, you're finding a way to make this work. It's like, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change what it is that I'm going to do, but I am going to take more into account what it is that we need as separate people, and see how we can mesh those things together. So, you know, there might be a little bit of a clash, but there's nothing here to say that you can't bring it back into alignment, which is really nice. For those of you that are single, it's going to be through your network, through your friends, through your people, through a group or a crew of some sort that you're connected to, that you're likely to meet somebody. And I got to say, because it shows up with the Queen of Swords, the sparks might fly initially. You might think, like, I can't stand this person, I wouldn't want to date them, let alone, you know, be with them. And maybe that's how it starts, but there's definitely some sort of friction there, which I think is great for those of you that are single. For your money and materials, you have the Lovers card, right? So this week, one of the few weeks where you may find yourself mixing business with pleasure, for those of you that are single. Now, you've got the Queen of Swords here, coupled with the Lovers card. That is literally a Gemini woman. So when it comes to your finances, your money and your resources, a Gemini woman may feature for you in some way, shape or form. Because it is the Tower card, this might be, I would go with a blast from the past, or somebody that shows up and you're like, wow, I never expected to hear from you again. You know, take that for whatever it's going to mean for you. For those of you that, when it comes to your money and your finances, it does look like there's a decision to be made here. And I got to be honest with you, it feels like a part of you knows you're going against the grain. And so you might kind of feel that initial like, ooh, this is going to be awkward. And a part of that is because whatever you're doing is either so novel, so new, or so avant-garde compared to what you're known for or what you usually do, that it almost takes you out of your comfort zone, and it makes everyone else uncomfortable as well, because they're like, okay, I've never seen this aspect of you. So it looks like whatever choice you're making on a financial level this week, the results are absolutely there in the long run, but the initial setup, startup, foray into this, it might be a bit like, ooh, okay, you know, we're going to have to find a way to adjust into this. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your arms, your hands, your fingers, your upper airways as well. Like, in fact, all of your ENT, I would go as far as to say those are things that this week you really want to look out for or look after. And then when it comes to your home and environment, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term relationships, use this week to build that bubble so that you and your partner can figure out what it is that needs to be adjusted this week. And then for those of you that are single, I would say this week, maybe somebody, you know, if you're having a get together this week, somebody could show up to that get together that you're kind of like a bit like, I don't really know how I feel about this person. And then it could be that moment of realization of, oh, I dislike you because I like you. Cool. You know, it could be one of those really like your brain and your heart are giving you mixed signals. But for those of you that are single, this could really, I mean, I feel like there's somebody could come in for you. All in all though, I don't actually think this is a bad week. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a great week as best as you possibly can with the Tower present. Take care, and I'll see you soon.